Luna had lived alone in the mountain cave for 3 years with only her dragons for company. The war between the old humans and the new evolved species had ended long ago, but the scars remained everywhere. She was one of the few elves left in this region, and she preferred it that way. Her morning started like any other. She woke before dawn and went to the crystal lake to bathe. The water was cold, but her elf body adapted quickly. Her 3 dragons, Spark, Ember, and Ash, played in the shallow water while she swam. Spark was the smallest, with scales that shimmered like gold. Ember was red as blood and twice the size of Spark. Ash was the largest, with gray scales that looked like storm clouds. The dragons were not really dragons in the old Earth sense. They were creatures that humans had created through genetic experiments before the Great Change. But Luna loved them, and they protected her from the dangers of the wild lands. She had raised them from eggs she found in an abandoned laboratory as she floated in the water. Luna heard something unusual. Her enhanced elf hearing picked up a sound like thunder, but different. It was coming from above. She looked up at the purple sky of early morning and saw 2 bright lights falling toward the forest. The lights were not meteors. She could tell by the way they moved. They were trying to slow down, trying to control their fall but failing. Luna swam to shore quickly and grabbed her clothes. She pulled on her pants and shirt made from synthetic materials that could repair themselves. Her weapons belt went around her waist, carrying her plasma blade and energy pistol. The crash came seconds later. The ground shook and birds flew from every tree for miles around. Luna ran toward the impact site with her dragons flying overhead. Their wings cast shadows on the forest floor as Luna jumped over fallen logs and ducked under branches. Her elf speed let her cover the distance in minutes instead of hours. The crater was still smoking. When she arrived, trees had been knocked down in a circle around the impact site, creating a clearing that had not existed before. In the center of the crater was a ship unlike anything Luna had seen. It was organic, looking like it had been grown, rather than built. The surface was smooth and blue, pulsing with a faint light. Luna approached carefully with her hand on her weapon. The ship had a large hole torn in its side, and she could see movement inside. She climbed down into the crater, feeling the heat from the crash through her boots. As she got closer, she saw them. 2 beings lay among the wreckage. They were identical in every way. Blue skin that looked smooth as water. 4 arms, each 2 on each side of their torso. They were tall even. Lying down, Luna guessed they were at least 8 feet. Their faces were almost human, but with larger features and eyes that glowed orange even while closed. They wore suits that seemed to be part of their skin changing color. As she watched, Luna checked for signs of life. Their chests moved up and down, but in a strange pattern. She noticed they breathed in perfect sync with each other. Green blood leaked from cuts on their heads and arms. Luna had basic medical training from her time in the Resistance, but she had never treated aliens before. She made a decision that would change her life forever. She would help them. Getting them out of the ship was the hardest physical task Luna had faced in years. Even with her enhanced elf strength, each twin weighed more than she expected. She dragged them one at a time, using a makeshift stretcher made from ship debris and fallen branches. The dragons helped by clearing a path with controlled bursts of fire to remove obstacles. Her cave was 2 miles from the crash site. By the time she got both twins inside, she was exhausted and covered in their green blood. The cave was actually a series of connected chambers that went deep into the mountain. Luna had turned it into a comfortable home with technology salvaged from the worn furniture she had made herself. She laid the twins on sleeping mats in the main chamber near the fire pit. Their breathing was getting weaker. Luna went to her storage area and brought out her medical supplies. She had herbs that could fight infection and synthetic healing gel from before the war. She did not know if any of it would work on alien biology, but she had to try. Luna cleaned their wounds carefully. The green blood had a strange smell, like copper and flowers mixed together. She applied the healing gel and was relieved to see it binding with their skin. Their bodies seemed to accept the treatment. She wrapped their wounds with clean cloth and covered them with thermal blankets for her. The next 3 days, Luna barely slept. She kept the fire burning and checked on the twins every hour. Their breathing slowly improved, and their skin color went from pale blue to a deeper, richer shade. On the second day, they started moving slightly. Their arms and legs twitched in perfect unison even while unconscious. The dragons were curious about the visitors. Spark would sit near them and watch for hours. Ember kept trying to sniff them until Luna made him stop. Ash, the most intelligent of the three, seemed to understand they were guests and brought them water in his mouth, though they could not drink it yet. On the morning of the fourth day, Luna was preparing medicine by the fire. She had removed her outer clothes because the work was hot and she wore only a thin undergarment that covered her body. She was grinding herbs when she heard movement behind her. Both twins had opened their eyes at exactly the same moment. They were sitting up staring at her with those glowing orange eyes. Luna grabbed a blanket and wrapped it around herself, but they showed no sign of embarrassment or understanding of her discomfort. They just kept staring as if they had never seen anything like her before. "Hello?" Luna said, not knowing what else to say. "My name is Luna. I found you crashed in the forest. You were hurt, so I brought you here." The twins looked at each other, then back at her. When they spoke, it was in perfect unison, creating an echo effect that made Luna shiver. "We are grateful," one of them said, though Luna could not tell which. "We are Zix and Zin. We came to study your world, but our ship failed." Luna noticed they had not stopped staring at her, even while speaking. The twins continued to stare at Luna as she prepared food for them. She had wrapped herself properly now, but could still feel their eyes following her every movement. It was not threatening or inappropriate, just intensely curious, like scientists studying something completely new. "You need to eat," Luna said, placing bowls of soup in front of them. "This is made from plants and synthetic proteins. It should be safe for you." Zix picked up the bowl with his lower arms while his upper arms remained. Still, Zin did the exact same thing at the exact same moment. They sipped the soup together and their eyes widened in surprise. "This is good," Zix said, breaking their synchronized speech for the first time. "We have never tasted anything like this. Our food is pills and paste." Xian added, also speaking alone. "Flavor is not important on our world, only nutrition." Luna sat across from them and watched them eat. They were learning to move independently, but it seemed difficult for them. Every few seconds, they would sync up again as if pulled by an invisible force. "Tell me about your world," Luna said. The twins looked at each other and then began to speak, taking turns in a way that seemed rehearsed. "We come from Gemini Prime," Zix started. "Every being there is born as twins. We share everything. Thoughts, feelings, experiences. To be alone is death." Zin continued. "No one survives without their twin bond. We are one mind in two bodies. But you are alone," Zix said, looking at Luna with those glowing eyes. "How do you survive?" Luna thought about how to explain. She told them about Earth and how humans had changed themselves through science. Some became elves like her, with pointed ears, better senses and longer lives. Others became giants who could lift mountains, or shapeshifters who could become any animal. There were telepaths who could read minds and technomancers who could control machines with thought. The war came when the old humans feared the new ones. Luna explained. They thought we were not human anymore. But we proved them wrong. We showed that being human was not about the shape of your body, but about what was in your heart. The twins listened with complete attention, asking questions about every detail. They wanted to know about the dragons. Most of all, Luna explained how she had found the eggs and raised the creatures from babies, teaching them to respond to her commands and even understand basic speech. Over the next weeks, the twins recovered fully, and Luna found herself enjoying their company more than she expected. They were eager to learn everything about Earth and humanity. They helped her with daily tasks, though they had to learn how to do things without their advanced technology. Zix showed an interest in cooking. He would watch Luna prepare meals and ask about every ingredient, every technique. His forearms made him surprisingly good at managing multiple tasks at once. He learned to make soup bread, and even discovered he could improve the taste with alien spices from their ships and preferred spending time with the dragons. He was fascinated by how they obeyed Luna without any technological control or mental link. He would sit for hours trying to communicate with them. Eventually, Ember started responding to his commands, though not as well as with Luna one evening. as they sat around the fire. Luna asked them why they had really come to Earth. "We are explorers," Zix said. "But that is only part of the truth. Our people sent us to find something," Zien added. "They did not tell us what, only that we would know when we found it. I think we found it," Zix said, looking directly at Luna. The next morning, Luna woke to find the twins building something outside the cave. They had salvaged parts from their ship and were constructing a tall device with antennas and crystal components. "What is that?" Luna asked. "A quantum communicator," Zion explained. "We need to report to our people." Luna felt a cold fear in her stomach. "Are you leaving?" The twins stopped working and looked at her. They did not speak for a long moment. Then Zix said, "We do not know yet." That night Luna could not sleep. She had grown used to having the twins around. They made her feel less alone in a way even her dragons could not. She went outside and found them standing under the stars. "Your sky is beautiful." Xin said, "We have 3 suns on our world, so we never see stars like this." Luna stood between them, looking up. "Do you miss your home?" "Sometimes," Zix answered. "But something strange has happened to us. Since we came here, we are changing." Xin said, "We can feel it. We are becoming something different." Luna looked at them. "What do you mean?" "On our world, we are never individuals." Zix explained. "We are always us. Never me. But here with you, we are learning to be separate." "It is frightening," Xin admitted, "but also exciting." They activated the communicator the next day. A hologram appeared, showing 2 more twins who looked exactly like Zix and Xin, but with green skin instead of blue. They spoke in the same, synchronized way that Zix and Xin used to. "You have been gone too long," the green twins said in unison. "What have you found?" Zix and Xin looked at each other, then at Luna. They did not speak in unison anymore. "We have found something extraordinary," Zix said, "a species that thrives alone." Xin added, "Humans who have become more than human." "The elf woman Luna has shown us something we did not know was possible." Zix continued, "to be one person, complete and whole without a twin bond." Xin finished. The green twins in the hologram looked disturbed. "This is not possible," they said. "You are malfunctioning. You must return immediately." "No," Zix and Xin said together, but it was different from before. They were choosing to speak together, not forced to. "We request permission to stay and continue studying," Zix said. "This is important for our people to understand," Xin added. The hologram flickered and went dark. Luna looked at the twins, who seemed calm, despite defying their people. "What will happen now?" she asked. "They will discuss," Zix said. "It could take days or weeks. And if they say no," Luna asked, "then we will have to choose," Xin said, looking at her with those orange eyes. "For the first time in our species' history, we will have to choose." Luna felt something change. In that moment, the twins were not just visitors anymore. They were becoming something else, something new. They were becoming her friends. Days passed with no response from Gemini Prime. The twins grew more independent each day, and Luna watched their transformation with fascination. Zix had started waking up before Xin, something that had never happened in their entire lives. Xin had developed a preference for different foods than his brother. Luna was teaching them to hunt when everything changed. They were in the forest tracking a wild boar that had been damaging her garden. Zix was learning to use a bow, while Xin preferred a spear. The dragons circled overhead, keeping watch. Suddenly the twins froze. Their eyes went wide and they grabbed their heads in pain. Luna rushed to them as they fell to their knees. "What is wrong?" she asked, holding Zix steady while trying to reach. "It's in the bond." Zix gasped. "It is breaking. Our people are calling us back," Xin said through gritted teeth. "They are trying to force us to return." Luna did not understand how, but she knew she had to help. She placed her hands on their heads and felt a strange energy. It was like electricity, but alive. She could sense the pull from their homeworld, trying to drag their minds back. "Fight it," Luna said. "You are not just twins anymore. You are Zix and Xin. 2 people, not 1. The twins looked at her and she saw fear, but also determination. They reached out with all 4 arms each and held onto her as if she was an anchor, keeping them in place. Hours passed like this. Luna holding them while they fought against the pull from their world. The dragons sensed danger and formed a protective circle around them, breathing small flames to keep other predators away. Finally, the pulling stopped. The twins collapsed, exhausted but free. Luna helped them back to the cave where they slept for 2 days straight. When they woke, they were different. "We are disconnected," Zik said, and there was wonder in his voice. "I cannot feel Zine thoughts anymore. It is strange." Zin added, "But not bad. I am thinking things that are only mine." Luna made them food and they ate in silence. She could see them struggling with their new reality. They kept looking at each other as if expecting to share thoughts that were no longer there. That night the communicator activated again. The green twins appeared, but this time, they were not alone. Behind them stood dozens of other twin pairs, all identical, all moving in perfect synchronization. "You have broken the sacred bond," the green twin said. "This is unprecedented. You must explain." Zik stood tall and spoke clearly. "We have discovered something. Our people need to know. It is possible to exist as individuals and still be complete. The human Luna showed us this," Zin added, standing beside his brother but not touching humans, "evolved beyond their original forms, but kept their humanity. We can evolve too." The crowd of twins in the hologram moved restlessly. This was clearly disturbing to them. "You will return for examination," the green twins commanded. "This anomaly must be studied." "We will not return," Zik said firmly. "We choose to stay." Zin added. The hologram went dark without another word. Luna knew this was not over, but she was proud of the twins for standing their ground. The next weeks were difficult for Zix and Zin. They had to learn everything about being individuals. They discovered they had different strengths and weaknesses. Zix was better at planning and strategy, while Zin was better at physical tasks and understanding emotions. Luna taught them meditation techniques she had learned from the elder elves before they died. It helped them find peace with their new separated minds. She also taught them to fight properly, not just as a synchronized unit, but as individuals who could support each other. One morning, Luna found Zin sitting alone by the lake watching the sunrise. This was remarkable because the twins had never voluntarily separated before. "I understand now," Zin said as she sat beside him. "Why you lived alone. It was not because you had to, but because you chose to." Luna nodded. "Sometimes being alone helps you understand who you really are, but you are not really alone," Zin observed. "You have the dragons, you had the choice to be alone or not. That is freedom." Zix appeared from the forest carrying fruit he had gathered. He moved differently now with purpose that was his own, not shared. He sat on Luna's other side and offered her the fruit. "We have been thinking separately, of course," Zix said with what Luna had learned was his version of humor, "about what to do next. Our people will come," Zin said. "They will want to study us, maybe take us by force, and they will find you." Zix added, looking at Luna. "That could be dangerous." Luna was not afraid. She had survived the war and lived alone in the wilderness for years, but she appreciated their concern. "Then we prepare," she said. "We make this place defensible. We teach you both to fight properly, and we show your people that what you have become is not wrong, but evolution." The twins smiled, and Luna realized it was the first time they had smiled differently. Zix's smile was smaller, more thoughtful, while Zin grinned widely. Over the following days, they worked together to fortify the cave. They used technology from the crashed ship to create shields and sensors. The dragons were trained to recognize threats and respond to new commands. The twins learned to use human weapons, and Luna learned about their technology. One evening, as they ate dinner, Zix said something that surprised them all. "I think I am experiencing what humans call loneliness," he said. "When Zin is not near, I feel incomplete, but in a different way than before. It is not painful, just aware." Gagan nodded. "I feel it too. But also, I feel something else when we are all together like this. It is warm and comfortable. That is belonging." Luna said, "You are learning." that you can be individuals but still be connected. Family is not about sharing minds but about choosing to share lives. The twins considered this. They had no word for family in their language because everyone was part of a twin bond, but they understood the concept now. 3 months after the crash, the sensors detected something approaching. A ship was entering Earth atmosphere and heading directly for them. It was not trying to hide. "They are here," Zix said. Checking the readings. 5 ships, each with 100 twin pairs. Luna felt fear but also determination. These beings would not take her friends. She had lost too much in the war to lose them now. "We stand together," she said. "Always," Zin replied. "As individuals who choose to be together," Zix added. The dragons sensed the tension and gathered around them. Spark climbed onto Luna's shoulder while Ember and Ash flanked the twins. They were ready for whatever came next. The ships landed in the clearing created by the original crash. 5 perfect circles of blue metal settled onto the scorched ground. Luna watched from the cave entrance with Zix and Zin beside her. The dragons were hidden, ready to attack if needed. The ships opened simultaneously and twin pairs emerged, moving in perfect unison. Each pair was different colors: blue, green, purple, gold, and red, but all moved as one being. They formed a semicircle around the cave entrance. The gold twins stepped forward. They seemed to be the leaders, their skin shimmering in the morning light. "We are the prime twins," they said in perfect harmony. "We have come to retrieve our broken ones." "We are not broken," Zix said, stepping forward. "We are evolved." "You have lost your bond," Zin added. "This is growth, not damage." The prime twins tilted their heads in unison, studying them. "You move separately. You think separately. You are no longer true twins. You are aberrations." Luna stepped between them and the prime twins. She felt hundreds of eyes focus on her. "They are not aberrations," she said. "They are individuals, and that makes them stronger, not weaker." The prime twins examined her with those glowing eyes. "You are the contamination," they said. "You have infected them with your solitary existence." Luna laughed, which seemed to confuse all the twin pairs. "I did not infect them. I showed them possibility. Humans learned long ago that strength comes from choice, not from bondage. Even if that bondage feels natural, demonstrate," the red twins suddenly said from the side. "Show us this strength you claim." Luna looked at Zix and Zin, who nodded. They had prepared for this. The demonstration began with combat. Zix and Zin fought against a pair of purple twins. The purple twins moved in perfect synchronization, their attacks coordinated flawlessly. But Zix and Zin had learned to fight as individuals who chose to work together. They could split apart, attack from unexpected angles, and reunite in ways the synchronized twins could not predict. Within minutes, the purple twins were defeated, not injured but clearly outmatched. Next came problem solving. The prime twins presented a complex puzzle that required multiple parts to be manipulated simultaneously. On their world, this was simple for twin pairs who shared thoughts. But Zix and Zin solved it faster by dividing the work based on their individual strengths and communicating verbally. The watching twins grew restless. Their perfect synchronization wavered slightly as they processed what they were seeing. Then Luna showed them something that changed everything. She called the dragon Spark. Ember and Ash emerged from hiding, and the twin pairs stepped back in fear and awe. These creatures were clearly dangerous, yet they obeyed Luna completely. "How?" the prime twins asked. "Do you control them?" "I do not control them," Luna said. "They choose to follow me because I raised them with love, not force. They are free to leave, but they stay because we are family." She demonstrated having the dragons perform complex maneuvers. They worked together like the twins, but each dragon had its own personality and preferences. Spark was playful, Ember was protective, and Ash was thoughtful. They were individuals who formed a unit by choice. One of the green twin pairs stepped forward, breaking formation. "Can we attempt communication with these creatures?" Luna nodded but warned them to move slowly. The green twins approached Ember, who watched them carefully. One twin extended a hand while the other remained still. That is when something unprecedented happened. The twin who extended his hand spoke alone. "My name is Vel," he said. shocking everyone, including his twin. "I wish to know you." "Creature of fire." His twin. Partner staggered as if struck. The bond was straining, but not breaking. Vel was asserting individuality while maintaining connection. The prime twins were disturbed by this development. "This is spreading," they said. "You must all return immediately for recalibration." "No," Vel said, still speaking alone. "I want to learn more." His twin partner looked at him, then at Luna, and spoke also alone. "I am Lan, and I agree with Vel." Chaos erupted among the twin pairs. Some tried to maintain perfect synchronization, while others began to waver. Individual voices started to emerge from the collective. "Stop," the prime twins commanded, but even they were affected. One of them turned slightly faster than the other, a tiny break in their perfection. Luna realized what was happening. The very idea of individuality was spreading among them like a virus, but not a destructive one. It was evolution happening in real time. Zix understood too, and stepped forward to address the crowd. "You do not have to break your bonds," he said loudly. "You can maintain them while still being individuals." X-Win joined him. "We are still twins, still connected, but now we choose that connection every day. It is stronger because it is chosen, not forced." Some twin pairs fled back to their ships, unable to handle the change. But others stayed drawn to this new possibility. Vel and Lan approached Luna directly. "Teach us," the green twins said, no longer in perfect unison. "We want to learn." Over the next days, the clearing became a classroom. Luna, Zix, and Zin taught the twins who stayed about individuality. They started with simple exercises like making different choices in food or clothing. Some twins handled it well while others struggled. The prime twins watched everything, recording and analyzing. They did not participate but did not interfere either. Luna could see them changing too. Their synchronization was less perfect each day. One morning, Luna woke to find the prime twins at her cave entrance alone. "We need to understand," one of them said, speaking individually for the first time. "Our entire civilization is based on twin bonds," the other added. "If this spreads, everything changes." "Change is not always bad," Luna said, inviting them inside. "Sometimes it is necessary for survival." She told them about human history, how humans had resisted change, then embraced it, how they had evolved into multiple forms but remained one species, how diversity had made them stronger, not weaker. "Your people fear being alone," Luna said. "But being individual does not mean being alone. It means choosing your connections." The prime twins spent the day with her, learning, experiencing. They watched Zix cook while Zin trained dragons. They saw how the brothers supported each other without sharing minds. They observed Luna with her dragons, seeing love without telepathic bonds. That evening, the prime twins made an announcement to all the twin pairs. "We will report to Gemini Prime that this phenomenon requires extended study." They said some will stay to learn. Others will return to maintain our world, but none will be forced. It was a compromise and a revolution at the same time. The twins who stayed began building shelters near the cave, creating the first mixed settlement of humans and Gemini beings. 6 months had passed since the twin pairs arrived. The settlement had grown into a small village with structures that combined human and Gemini architecture. Luna Cave remained at the center, but now surrounded by elegant buildings that seemed to grow from the ground. Zix and Zin had become leaders among the twins who stayed. They taught classes on individuality while still maintaining their special connection. They showed others that being separate did not mean being severed. Luna watched the transformation with pride and some amusement. The twins were developing distinct personalities. Vel had become an artist, using 4 arms to create sculptures impossible for humans. Lan had become fascinated with earth biology and spent days studying plants and animals. The dragons had accepted the new residents, though Ember still did not like anyone but Luna. Touching him, Spark had bonded with several twin pairs who fed him treats. Ash, the smartest, had learned to communicate basic concepts to the twins using a system of gestures. One morning, Luna was training with new students when an alarm sounded. Ships were approaching, but not from Gemini Prime. These were different, angular and dark. "Everyone to positions," Luna commanded. The settlement had prepared for this possibility. The dark ships landed aggressively, scorching. More forest-armed beings emerged, but these were not twins. They were singular creatures, tall and insect-like, with multiple eyes and sharp limbs. They moved with military precision. "We are the Hive," they announced through speakers. "We have come for the Gemini rebels and the human who corrupted them." Luna stepped forward with Zix and Zin beside her. The other twins and dragons spread out in defensive positions. "We are not rebels," Zix said. "We are evolved, and I did not corrupt them." Zin added, "I freed them." The Hive commander clicked its mandibles. "You do not understand, little human. The Gemini twins were perfect servants when synchronized. Now they think independently and have stopped providing resources to the collective." Luna understood now. The Gemini had not been explorers by choice. They had been controlled by these Hive creatures, forced to gather information and resources. "You enslaved them," she said, anger rising. In her voice, "We gave them purpose," the commander replied. "Without us, they would have destroyed themselves. Their twin bonds made them easy to control." One command controlled two bodies. The twins who had stayed looked shocked. They had never known they were slaves. The synchronized nature of their species had been exploited by the Hive for generations. But now Vel said, stepping forward with Lan, "We are free, and we will not return to slavery." Lan added. The Hive commander made a sound like grinding metal. "Then you will be eliminated along with the contamination source." The battle began suddenly. The Hive had weapons that fired energy beams cutting through trees and rocks, but they had not expected the dragon's spark, ember, and ash attacked from above, breathing fire that disrupted the Hive technology. Their organic weapons were not affected by the energy dampeners the Hive used. The twins fought with both Gemini and human weapons, switching between synchronized and individual tactics to confuse the enemy. Luna moved through the battle like a ghost. Her elf speed and senses let her predict attacks before they came. She used a combination of plasma weapons and traditional blades, dancing between enemies. But the real surprise came from Zix and Zin. They had discovered something new. They could choose to synchronize or separate at will, giving them advantages of both states. When synchronized, they moved with perfect coordination. When separated, they could flank and surprise. The Hive had never faced enemies who could switch between collective and individual action at will. They were designed to fight one or the other, not both. The prime twins who had stayed to observe joined the battle. They synchronized with other pairs, creating larger units that moved as one. Then they would split apart into individuals, attacking from multiple angles before reforming. The Hive commander realized they were losing and called for retreat, but Luna was not going to let them escape to enslave others. "Ash," she called, pointing at the commander ship. The dragon understood and breathed his hottest flame, melting the ship engines. "You cannot escape," Luna told the commander. "You will send a message to your Hive. The Gemini are free now. Any attempt to reclaim them will meet the same fate." The commander looked at her with its many eyes. "You are one small human on one small world. You cannot stop the Hive." Luna smiled and gestured to the twins around her. "I am not alone, and humans have a saying. We are stubborn creatures, we do not give up, and we protect our friends." Vel and Lan approached the commander together, but speaking separately. "We were your slaves," Vel said. "But we are free now," Lan added, "and freedom," the prime twins said together, "is worth fighting for." The Hive commander was forced to send the message declaring the Gemini twins independent. The dark ships left Earth, but everyone knew this was not over. The Hive would remember, and perhaps return. That night, the settlement celebrated. Luna sat by the fire with Zix on one side and Zin on the other. The dragons curled around them protectively. The twin pairs danced, some synchronized, some not, celebrating their freedom. "Thank you," Zix said quietly, "for showing us we could be more, giving us choice." Zin added. Luna looked at her friends, these beings who had come from the stars and found themselves in her cave. "You gave me something too," she said. "I was alone by choice, but did not realize I was lonely. You showed me that family can be found, not just born." The prime twins approached and sat across from them. "We must return to Gemini Prime," they said. but not to stop this change. To spread it, our people need to know the truth about the hive. One of them said individually, and about the strength of choosing connection. The other added, they left the next day but promised to return. Half the twins who had come stayed on Earth to continue learning. The settlement grew, and word spread to other human colonies. Elves, giants, telepaths, and others came to see the mixed community. Years passed. The settlement became a city, the first truly integrated human-alien community. Zix became an ambassador, teaching newly arrived twins about individuality. Zin led the Defense Force training. Both humans and Gemini Vel and Lan started an art school where 4 armed sculptures stood beside human paintings. Luna remained at the heart of it all, living in her cave but no longer alone. She had become a bridge between species, a teacher of independence and connection. Her dragons grew old but had offspring that bonded with both humans and Gemini. One day, sitting by the lake where it all began, Luna watched young twins learning to swim separately while their human friends cheered them. Zix and Zin sat beside her, older now but still strong. "Do you ever regret that day we crashed?" Zin asked. "Never," Zix answered before Luna could speak. "We found something better than we were looking for. We found ourselves," Luna added. "And each other." 3 of them sat in comfortable silence watching the sun set over their mixed world. They had started as strangers, an elf woman and alien twins who did not mean to meet, but they had become something more. They had become family. And in the distance, more ships appeared on the horizon. Not invaders but traders and explorers drawn to the world where twins learned to be individuals, and individuals learned to be family. The story of Luna and the twins had spread across the galaxy, proof that humanity, greatest strength was not its weapons or technology, but its ability to transform others through simple connection, choice, and love. The twins never did look away from Luna, but now she understood why. They had been looking for something they could not name, and they found it in her humanity. The power to be alone but choose togetherness, to be different but united to be yourself while lifting others up. That was the gift Luna gave the twins, and they gave her connection in return. Together they changed not just their own lives but the fate of 2 civilizations, and it all started with a crash, a rescue, and 2 aliens who did not mean to see her naked but never looked away from the humanity she showed them.